to all. So now we have entered into the second session of the today's program, and that's to a very important lecture, and which will be delivered by a person who is leading from the front, who is owner of the goat farm, who has his own site, and he is an expert in managing marketing of the goats. And the person is none other than Dr. M. Rajasekaran. I would like to introduce him. Welcome, sir. Dr. Rajasekaran, sir. Welcome. Welcome, sir. I would like to introduce Dr. Rajasekaran, sir, in brief.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shall I go ahead?
Excuse me, sir. 1 second.
Manchbhai, sir, shall I go ahead?
No, sir. Wait, sir.
Sir, please. Please, 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Sorry. Today's speaker is Dr. M. Rajasekaran, sir, who is the goat entrepreneur, as I said earlier. And here is his brief biodata. He's a very proactive professional with undeniable skills in animal nutrition, goat farming, and goat export, particularly. He has achieved many milestones in commercial goat farming industry and continuing as a single live goat exporter from South India since 2010. He has made his farm a resource center for beginners, goat farming, and large-scale goat farmers with notable innovations in feeding and rearing. Sir's work history tells us that he's working from September 2005 till date, and right now he is the managing director of Ideal Goat Farm Private Limited, Namakkal, India. They have Ideal Goat Farm, Namakkal, India. He is the founder of Ideal Goat Farms and later converted to Private Limited. He is consultant on animal nutrition and complete solution for goat farmers, from selection of suitable land, construction of shed, sourcing of livestock, maintenance and marketing, all aspects. He provides customers with the outstanding service to not only maintain but to extend relationship for future business opportunities. Sir got many skills in goat farming related areas, and he used to serve through his Ideal Goat Farms. He, even though he was also student of our university, and we feel proud, and I feel proud, privileged to introduce him. And he is the person, Dr. M. Rajasekaran. Today he has connected with us, and from organizer side, I would like to welcome you, sir, here. And our participants, they are very eager to listen you. So for this, I'll stop here, and I request Dr. M. Rajasekaran, sir, to kindly deliver his lecture. Sir, please.
Yeah.
Sir, please, you can share your slides.
Yes, sir. Sorry. Sir, is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It is clear. Just make it full screen, sir.
Fine. So, good evening, everybody. I would like to thank first Dr. Paturkar sir, Dr. Bikani sir, and Dr. Grease Punchbhai for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to deliver a speech in a high-contented platform where the dynamic scientists and high-valued professors are making their presence. I also thank our sponsors for giving such an opportunity. I would like to introduce myself and our firms first. I am Dr. Raj Shekhar. I have completed my UG in the same prestigious university in Pabani and then PG in Chennai. I have started my firm in 2005, Ideal Goat Farms Private Limited. We have initially started our farms with exotic breeds, and then seeing the domestic demands, we have converted to the native breeds. Right now we are having on goat front, we are having Salem black goats, and the sheep, we are having Vembur sheep. For feeding, we are using hydroponic fodder production system. Just a minute, sir. I light it upon. On feeding, we are using hydroponic fodder production system. Our fodder production system has a capacity of 1 ton per day, and we are using it for the past 5 years with good volumes, good productions, and good results. Then on goat front, we are using Salem black goats, a native breed of Tamil Nadu, and sheep, we are using the big-horned sheep, Vembur, a breed of southern Tamil Nadu, which is most preferred goat for Bakrid slaughter in India. And on other goats, we are bringing goats from, in India, the goats are not present throughout the country evenly spread. Its densified packets are present. We are bringing goats from Rajasthan and Maharashtra to meet the demands in Tamil Nadu. We are bringing around 8 to 10,000 goats to Tamil Nadu every year. From Rajasthan, we are bringing in particularly these Sirohi and breeds like Beetle, Jamunabari and all. And from Maharashtra, we are bringing Usmanabadi breeds to cater the needs of Tamil Nadu. And other than a domestic market, we are exporting our goods abroad. We are exporting our goods to neighboring countries like Sri Lanka, Maldives, and Philippines. This is one of the image taken while we are exporting our goods 2019. In the pandemic, the export is stopped completely in India. We are utilizing all the modern practices in farm to ensure good services to our customers. Recently, we have introduced ultrasounds in farm. So while the farmers are making their purchase, we are confirming pregnancy using this equipments to the farmers. So with this brief introduction, I would like to get into my topic. The marketing opportunities lies in sheep and goat industry. We'll see the present status of goat farming in India briefly. I'm not going to present much data and things. 90% of the goat sector in India are still in the hands of unorganized people. The sector is 90% unorganized, or the 90% of the goats lies in the hands of landless laborers, marginal farmers, and those who are having 2 to 50 goats. All these farmers who have came in without any plans or other things, they are doing goat farming because they don't have any other alternatives. In the same way, they have very less expenses for raising their goats, as well as they are selling their goats for a very low price, which can be easily matched to their wages. I have told in the previous slides also, The sheep and goat population throughout the India is not present in an even manner, and it's been scattered, it's been in the densified pockets. Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh are holding the major number of the sheep and goat population in India, and other states are Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra. Remaining states are remaining consumers for the meat products of small ruminants. So this gives an excellent opportunity for the entrepreneurs in trading the livestock from one place to other. The obstacles we are facing while getting into goat farming in the present situations are the lack of organized market setup here, absence of state-of-art farms. There is no state-of-art farms from whom we can get registered breeds or recognized animals, and the government policies also haven't reached the farms till date. The elite organizational setup here is also remain untapped by the rural farmers. And the physical resources, land and water. The land resources are becoming scarce, meager. The biggest population here in India is utilizing all the lands, and lands are becoming meager. The water levels are going deeper and deeper, presenting bigger threat to livestock farming industry in the near future. Also, the climatic changes, the greenhouse gases emissions from small ruminants. The environmental activists are supporting monogastric animals over the ruminants because of the emissions. Then the social and cultural development is also not that encouraging. The labor issues are arising at each and every part. And then the ethical concerns like the development of global veganism here is also a threat to the meat consumption overall. Nevertheless, in future years, in 2 to 3 years to come, the artificial or in vitro meat, which is going to tap the Indian markets, will be a biggest threat of the farming sector in India. Already it's in the farm under the name of Memphis Meats, and it will tap Indian markets in a year or two, surely. Even though this much there is increasing focus on the goat sector in the past 4 to 5 years in social media and in other printed media. The news on goat sector and the profitability that's been available from goat sector is being focused, stressed. The reasons are, there are many reasons for that. There are many potential remain untapped in this industry. BAIF has conducted a survey in 2015, and they have indicated that 250 to 300% of the farmers' income as such can be increased just by adopting good hygienic practices and using proper marketing techniques. And then the doubling the farmers' income committee, which has been constituted by the central government, is also emphasizing the small ruminant development. Sheep and goat industry as the main tool for alleviating poverty in India. The growth rate of meat consumption in India is 3 to 7% year on year, and the percentage development of population is definitely not matching it. There is a huge supply demand mismatch in the sheep and goat industry, and the skilled and educated youth entrepreneurs who are coming in are having a lot of opportunities and untapped potentials in sheep and goat sector. As I have told, the printed media in India is focusing on the sheep and goat sector and the marketing opportunities for the past few years constantly. Anyway, even though the opportunities lies, someone from abroad, foreign, has to come and explore us the opportunities. In software industries, after the arrival of Bill Gates, we understood the potential that was lying in India. In the similar way, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have came into goat sector India to explore its or to show its depth or potential in India. Building a vibrant goat sector 2030 is a project which the Gates Foundation has took. joining hands with Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying and Fisheries, along with International Fund for Agricultural Development and Creative Agri Solutions. This indicates the potential that remains untapped and the marketing opportunities that lies. Presently, the marketing opportunities what we are having are the live animal markets. The animal markets here presents a lot of opportunity for us. Then selling our produce to butchering shops and selling our produce to middlemen. It's told that butchers are slaughtering the animals and the middlemen are slaughtering the goat farmers. This is the present situation here. So in such a situation, the entrepreneurs who are coming in, for them, how should be their marketing strategies or the marketing opportunities, which and all they have to tap. We'll see one by one. So the marketing strategies for better profit.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
I'll take just 1 minute. So
Yes.
your voice is audible, but the sound is awful. It is very less.
Fine, sir. I'll make some
Please,
adjustments.
please, Manish.
So the marketing strategies for better profit are what we are doing in our farm and what we are advising to our clients for making better profit in marketing. So before getting into the marketing strategies, some basic facts in sheep and goat industry we should understand and we should accept. Always remember that mortality and goats go together. This is a proverb by Susan Gasprato, a leading goat farmer in United States. Any species that has earlier sexual maturity is giving birth to multiple number of kids and shorter gestations kept in a confined area are going to present deaths. The mortality is expected to happen. Fine. For entrepreneurs, if they can have any pre-written formula for this, nothing is available. They have to learn from their mistakes for these things. And also remember, the problems in farms are going to rise at the most inconvenient time or when you can least afford to it. That means an entrepreneur or a commercial goat farmer should always keep him ready to attend any sort of issues arising in his farm. I will stress one thing. If running behind the money alone or making profit alone is your motto, then you will be tested seriously. It should be like you should be concentrating on better infras. The infrastructure should be complete. You should keep the hygienes better. You should make better procurements. The raising practices should be perfect. And then your marketing, you should make innovations. The money will follow. Such a farming practice will be the ideal. Trying to bread for all the markets. That means even though the marketing opportunities are available everywhere, before beginning our farm, we should be clear where we are going to or for which market we are making our produce. That will be easy. We should be careful in nutrition part because it's the most complex part of a commercial goat farming. Then never go for cheaper dose. Never procure cheaper animals because that's tend to make cheaper producers and you will be left with poor stock. Disease-free herd, which we always used to talk, will always be a dream for a commercial farmer. So with these facts, we'll enter into marketing strategies. The marketing strategies should start before beginning of a farm. Before we are deciding to start a farm, we should be very clear on where we are going to sell our produce or how our farm is going to be. Whether it's going to be a breeding farm, whether it's going to be a rearing farm with local breeds, or we'll be tapping the ethnic markets with particular sex, male goat farming like that. Then if we are going to do the processing by our own, or we are going to sell live goats alone, and then new options which we can go for. So this should be entrepreneur who is getting in should be very clear in doing this, what he is going to do. breeding farms. While we are talking about breeding farms, it simply means the exotic breeds which are much costlier. All the farmers cannot afford to bring the animals in their farm. So the superior males of exotic breeds are taken. They are crossed with the local females available and they are upgraded to the superior goats. Within a time span of some 3 to 4 years, we can get the offsprings of 90 to 100% genetically matching with superior farms, and those can be sold for new farmers who are beginning their farms at much better prices. So the breeding farms are offering the best returns in the industry, but the longer waiting period and intensive market practices a farmer has to adopt for selling their produce and the limited requirement for the parent stocks has to be kept in mind. The second, while we are going for breeding farms, few of the exotic breeds we can consider are, this one is Dumbe. Dumbe is a fat-tailed sheep from Central Asia or Turkey. It's present in Rajasthan, West Bengal and Maharashtra states of India. The part you are seeing in the tail, it's fat-tailed sheep. It's the most preferred animal for Qurbani because of their ritual reasons. Dumba is costing around, a full-grown Dumba is costing 1 to 4 lakhs in ordinary markets, and during Eid auctions it can go up to 8 to 10 lakhs price. This indicates the potential, how much a farmer can make out of keeping these breeds. The kid, a kid which is sticking to its breed characters is selling for 1 lakh, indicating its demand in India. One more breed which the breeding farms can target is the Sami. It's Cyprus breed, Cyprus Sami goats. They are known for their faster growth and the milk yield. A fully matured Sami female goat can offer 12.5 liters of milk per day. The semen is available in South India now, so the entrepreneurs can use this for upgrading their farms. Actually, I was surprised to see this picture in their farm statistics. This was by St. Anthony's Farms, Cyprus. They have told the animals which are seeing in the picture is 45-day old. One more breed which is most commonly used is Boer. Boer is the most commonly used meat breed worldwide. This can also be utilized for breeding purposes. Alasheri, Sirohi, Jamunabari breeds can be utilized to upgrade towards Boer and marketed in India. In India, Boer right now is the most preferred breed for stall feeding. The second way after breeding farms is the rearing farms. Almost 80% of the units present in India now are rearing units, keeping the local breeds, keeping the male according to the requirement or according to the statistics as 25 females to 1 male, something like that, and selling the goats in the local markets. This is the practice adopted by 80% of the farmers, but this is the least benefiting practice in goat farming because the fertility, pregnancy care, kidding management, kid mortality, the cost involved in keeping the female goats, the infras needed for female, everything increases the costing in this. Almost the cost for rearing and growing young ones in breeding farm and rearing farm are similar, but the selling price is totally reverse, leading to failure or very lesser profits in this format. The practice which is highly increasing, highly profiting now in southern parts of Tamil Nadu, but southern parts of India, particularly Tamil Nadu, is male goat farming or kid fattening or lamb fattening. In this, we recommend to buy, if it's goats, around 10 kgs of weight, and if it's sheep, up to 15 to 20 kgs of weight we will procure. If it's goat, we will be raising it up to 25-30 kgs weight and market them. Or if it's a sheep, we can raise them up to 50 to 60 kgs and we can target ethnic markets. In this format of marketing, we need less labor, minimum infrastructure is needed. In a farm, we doesn't need any separations like kidding area for pregnant, for others, nothing is required. 7 square feet per animal is enough for a male goat farming. And the fodder and feed requirement, if it's a parent farming, the sheep, female parents are about to consume bigger volumes. A sheep, female sheep of 40 kgs weight tend to consume 4 to 5 kgs of green fodder, whereas in case of male goat farming, the kids' maximum weight will be around 20 to 25 kgs, and they tend to consume 1/4 of the feed and fodder which the female parents will be consuming. And targeting the ethnic markets, either it's Bakrid or any other Hindu rituals, it will be very easy while we are rearing the male goats. So male goats rearing is now rewarding good in southern parts, and this will be the better practice or best practice in the years to come. And I want to stress one more factor here. Beginning, I mentioned that 90% of the sheep and goat farming lies in the hands of unorganized sector or small farmers, and they tend to sell their produce for any prices. So in the animal markets now, we can purchase a 10 to 15 kgs kit for a price lesser than what it would actually cost to rear in a farm. So male goat farming, we are presently recommending and has high potentials. While talking of ethnic markets, it's selling our produce in a particular market or particular groups. The ethnic market in Islamic front is Bakrid. Bakrid produce is presenting a large marketing opportunity throughout the world for selling their produces. Almost 80% of the goat rearers are offloading 30% of their produce for Bakrid. This picture shows the auction that takes place for Bakrid goats in Devanar Bakri Mandi, Mumbai. In the past few years, a single goat that has fetched maximum price in this is 10 lakhs per goat, indicating the potency that lies. If in, for selling our sheep for Bakrid, a goat should be having following characteristics. So the entrepreneurs who are entering in, who are targeting the Bakrid market, should make their animals above 1 year of age. It can be castrated. The animal shouldn't have any defects, like they should not be blind, the horns and teeth should not be broken, and the toothless animals won't be taken. If your animals are devoid of these defects, and if you make a better produce, you tend to make at least 50 to 60% increased profit by selling the same produce. If Bakrid is on the Islamic front, in Hindus religious rituals, starting from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, every month there are either 1 or 2 festives or ritual things happening. As the largest country with different populations, different religions, regions, it presents lots of functions for local deities, animal sacrifices, functions, festives, presenting opportunities for selling our male goats. The black goats are particularly preferred for animal sacrifice in southern parts of India. So in our farm, we are breeding black goats, Salem black goats, a local breed of Tamil Nadu, along with Usmanabadi. These 2 breeds can be concentrated by the entrepreneurs in South India, and Jakrana, Beetle, and Black Bengal goats can be reared by the North Indian entrepreneurs. While it comes to sheep, while you are targeting the Islamic rituals, remember the goats with big horns are always preferred for Bakrid. So the breeds like Vembur, which are having big horns, are any domestic breed of India which are presenting big horns and good physical characters, good meat breeds can be reared up to 50 to 70 kgs and they can be marketed for buck rate. So after this rearing our goats for ethnic markets, then the goat processing by our own. We always used to say, if a farm has a processing unit of its own, a retail meat selling unit on its own, it will always succeed. Now, as the literated, high knowledge and new entrepreneurs are coming into this sector, they can focus on creating hygienic, better retail outlets for giving good products to the customers. The retail outlet is an excellent tool in the hands of commercial goat farms. And as I have told, this can be targeted by the new entrepreneurs. And these are few products which are selling online now. You all might have seen this or used these products, either Tendercut, Pipola, or any other meat products. I am stressing this fact because 300 to 300 grams of meat in these online produce is selling for 500 or 600 rupees now, which means a kg of meat is selling for at least 1,500 to 1,800 rupees, indicating the profit which can be made through these online markets. This is one of the slaughterhouses in Mysore. We are using for dressing our goats. We have tied up with these slaughterhouse to tap the opportunities in Bangalore. So such things can be done by the entrepreneurs. They can have mini slaughterhouses of their own and they can tap the tier 1 and tier 2 cities for their market. And taking our live goods to the consumer's place directly will be one more opportunity. This is a picture taken in UAE where they use it to take the live goods to the consumer's place directly, which is estimated to give around 20 to 30% more rates for our goods. All new innovations, all the opportunities can be utilized by the new entrepreneurs. And the social media. Utilizing the social media for better marketing. The social media has changed the way of doing business in almost all the products. The pandemic has proved its importance in livestock industry. The domestic demand mismatch that's present can easily be identified and it can be addressed through this media. So the entrepreneurs who are coming in should know how to utilize these markets, how to present their sales in these markets, how to fix their prices for different regions, which instrument to use for that particular region. These all things need to be kept in mind while going for marketing online. So this will be the best tool that is going to be utilized by the goat farmers in the coming decades. So after meat, the goat is producing other producers such as goat milk. The goat milk and milk byproducts can be marketed online as well as locally. The goat milk is also used to make goat milk soaps and creams. The cosmetic industry is consuming goat milk a bit. After that, goat manure, which presents a lot of opportunities. Almost a mature goat is expected to produce 130 to 160 kg of manure per year. If this manure is converted into value-added fertilizer or reprocessed, it can be marketed in metros for terrace gardening purposes, or it can be exported. There is a huge opportunity for exporting processed goat manure abroad. This can also be used to make vermi-producers. Online portal can also be utilized for selling our manure. Actually, I used to get surprised to see these ads in which 1 kg of goat manure in Amazon is selling around 60 rupees at 50% discount, which indicates the innovations made by the entrepreneurs and the opportunities that lies in the market. Everything has to be noted and utilized by the entrepreneurs who are coming in. Then there are few opportunities which are new, which remain unexplored. One of them is selling our goods to institutions. The animal experimentations are still on the way by R&Ds, institutions, and other companies. So a commercial goat farmer or a goat farmer, if he has kept his animals hygienic, kept his infras as per the demands, and gets an approval from CPCSEA, Committee for the Purpose of Control and Supervision of Experiments in Animals. They can sell their produce to institutions and R&Ds. At least they will get 200% of price for their produce. This area remains untapped. Very few sellers are now utilizing these things, and more opportunities lies, such as, even though it's not present in India now, the production of hyperimmune serum or specific pathogen-free serums for producing antibody kits and serum alone is going to gain importance in the years to come. If the government policies are changed and everything has been allowed, this will be a major tool for earning in the hands of commercial goat farmers. With this domestic market opportunities, the commercial farmers and entrepreneurs who are coming in, they can address these issues by their own, by joining their hands together. They can make common facilitation centers. They can make small abattoirs of their own. They can make cold storages of their own. Public-private participations, which the government is promoting nowadays, all can be utilized by the farmers by forming consortiums among them. And the National Animal Identification System, once it's coming in full-fledged, the commercial goat farmer or the organized goat farmers will be profiting much more. It will be a better opportunity for the organized goat farmers once the National Animal Identification System comes in completely. These are all what I was stressed. The community grazing lands like Nepal and other countries can also be developed here and can be utilized in better ways. With this domestic marketing opportunities, I would like to tell you a few opportunities in exporting goods live abroad. While going through the statistics, India or China are having the most number of sheep and goat population in their country. China stands the #1 country and India follows it. But when it comes to export, Australia and New Zealand stand in the top 2 positions, and India and China stand nowhere in the exporting, live goat exporting. One of the major reasons could be the strong domestic demand, and one more reason is lack of awareness and lack of unavailability of infrastructures in the countries, particularly in India. The unavailability of exporting infrastructures is a major reason, and in the years to come, if it's addressed completely, I am very sure the export will much folds of export can take place. These all countries present export opportunities to the commercial goat farmers, particularly Maldives, Philippines, Dubai, and UAE. UAE, there is a large potency lying in all the countries I have stated here. They wish to have, or they like the Indian goats, but the infrastructures for sending them, the mode of transportation, these two are the major limiting factors for exporting live goats in India. For exporting live goats, the goat should be the following characteristics should present in their goods. The entrepreneurs to take a note. The animal should never be a purebred animals. Purebred animals are never allowed to export. The animal should be above 1 year of age. The pregnant animals, usually the advanced pregnant animals are not allowed to get exported. They should be below 110 days of pregnancy. The animal's origin should be clear. From which farm or from which area it's coming in should be very clear. Usually the preferable weight for exporting goats is around 25 kgs, but each and every buyer may vary in their requirements. The animal should be healthy and devoid of diseases. Each and every country have a set of list of diseases which they want certifications as the animals are not having, or we should produce laboratory certifications that the animals are free from the diseases. Major diseases are a list of diseases: anthrax, FMD, PPR, tuberculosis, blue tongue and brucellosis. So in a farm, the practices need to be perfect. Periodic vaccination should take place in a farm. Each and every practice that a farm is making should be attested by a government veterinary officer of that locality. Either it's vaccinations, tagging, deworming, everything should be attested by a government veterinary officer. The sanitary and phytosanitary measures should be taken perfectly. Then periodic health checkup should be made by the doctors, and the record should be compiled and maintained. These all data should accompany the shipment. Then only the live export is possible. The vaccination details, the blood test reports for the diseases or set of diseases which the importing country is seeking. We should make blood tests, and we should give reports that the animals are totally free from those diseases. We should vaccinate our animals, and the immune level should also be certified by government laboratories. The health certificates, blood titer evaluations, everything, every certifications we have accumulated should be submitted to Animal Quarantine Certification Station. It's the authority for approving live animal exports. We have to submit and get the note from AQCS, and veterinary official from AQCS will visit the exporting unit personally, and he should approve the animals. Then only the exports can take them. But the exports are highly rewarding now. At least we are getting 200 to 250% of price than domestic markets right now. The exporting from India, we can segregate them into two varieties. That's exporting to the Southeast countries and exporting our produce to Gulf countries. Exporting to Southeast countries like Sri Lanka, Maldives and others, it's relatively easier. The processing is very easy. The local vessels are available. We can make our transit, but entrepreneurs should be very careful with the buyers to whom they are selling their products, as there are a lot of fraudulent involved and the margins are lower. But if you are targeting the UAE or Gulf countries, the degree of the margin of profit which we tend to get is much higher, but the practices which we should keep are really stringent. We should make high degree of cautions and high degree of sanitary and phytosanitary measures if we are exporting our produce to Gulf countries. And the major limiting factor in exporting our animals is right now is we don't have any mode of transport. For example, the Australia and New Zealand are having dedicated ships for transporting their populations, livestock. A ship which can accommodate 15,000 to 20,000 goats are available there, and the animals are transported through that. But here, no such things are available. If we have to transport our goats to UAE, we have to go through air transit mode, and the flights, we have to take dedicated flights. So the number of animals we have to export per trip increases much. At least 1,500 number of animals you have to transport, then only you can get a air transport tool. Sanat goat farms in Maharashtra, our farms, Ideal Goat Farms, and many farms in Rajasthan are doing live goat exports now. The future possibilities are, as I told in the previous domestic marketing, the farmers can form a consortium among them. They can address these small issues, the lack of infrastructures, the need for mode of transportation issues. These can be addressed if they form a consortium among them. Then the risk will get reduced and the returns will be higher. Big volumes will be possible for each and everybody. We are hopeful that after 2022, the live goat exports will kick start from India, and it will happen in many more folds, which is taking place now. So with these domestic and export opportunities, I would like to conclude my speech, and I thank to Dr. Bikani and Dr. Panchbhai once again for giving me such a good opportunity. Thanks all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It was really wonderful to listen you. It was very nice, and we got very new ideas, and you have shown new avenues. What our participants and what our farmers they should how they should go for marketing, and really it was worth lecture for me at least, and for many of our participants. I think all are saying okay, all are saying it is fine and good. And there are a few questions, sir, for you. Dr. Simant Kumar Nanda from West Bengal, he wanted to ask you that what should be the marketable weight of a Black Bengal goat?
Sir, today the live price of a domestic goat lies between 350 to 450. The Black Bengal goat can be marketed around 400 rupees per kg now, if you are asking for market rates.
Marketable weight, they are asking. Sir,
Weight you are asking, sorry. The marketable weight for any goat breed, the ideal marketing weight is 25 to 30 kgs.
25
the
to
most
30.
preferred marketing weight for goats.
Yes, sir. The one more question is that asked by Ramchandra Ramteke, Dr. Ramchandra Ramteke, and he would like to know that how can we exploit market potential in new area where both are available at the farmers level, but no commercial market or buyer.
See, these are the areas. That's what I was stressed, sir. These are the areas where the entrepreneurs who are coming in should tap. Means when we are going for a commercial goat farming, it gives us a lot of procuring opportunities and a lot of ethical trading opportunities. So more and more number of the entrepreneurs in commercial goat farmers should come in that will address these issues. And I expect this promotion to happen within 2-3 years of time to come.
Sir, there is one more question from Vaibhav Raut, and he wanted to know that, sir, can you please explain goat milk opportunities in some details? Goat milk opportunity.
See, goat milk, the marketing of goat milk is still meager, or the efforts taken by even the commercial farmers are still meager, because most of the Indian goat breeds are not high yielders. They are producing milk for their offsprings alone. Few breeds like Jamunabari or Malabari goats in Kerala gives milk still means that can be marketed. So the byproducts, goat milk cheese is now selling good. Online demand is there. Even the goat milk as such can be tetra packed and sold in online markets. Then cosmetic industry is utilizing, sir. Cosmetic industry, they are ready to tie up if you can give more than 50 to 100 liters of goat milk to them every day. So if any farmers or anybody who are hearing this thing or having goat milk in excess can contact our farm and we can give them opportunity to market there. We are procuring goat milk regularly.
Dr. Viraj Chavan wants to ask you that whether your company is arranging trainings for farmers at your farm.
Yeah, sir, we are giving the trainings every Sunday in our farm.
Every Sunday.
Yeah.
So those who want to attend the training at Sir's farm, they can contact Sir. We'll provide Sir's number. Then a few questions are there from UP people, UP participants, and they wanted to know that which goat breed from UP or is best suited for UP and which has good market value.
Sir, almost UP and Rajasthan, the other consuming states are seeing them similar. The Sirohi, Gujri, Ajmeri, or even this Jamunabari and beetle goats are having good value in southern parts. Almost 10 to 15,000 number of goats are coming every week from Rajasthan and UP alone to Tamil Nadu and Kerala. This indicates the potency for them. The guys who are in UP and Rajasthan, if they want to sell live animals to southern parts of India, they can very well contact us. We are bringing at least 10,000 number of animals from Rajasthan alone to our farm per year.
Thank you, sir. These were some questions, and all other participants, they are very much satisfied with your lecture. All are satisfied, in fact, including me. So it was a really wonderful time to listen to you, to learn about your experiences, and really these will be the guidelines for the future entrepreneurs and those who wanted to come into this business. Really, you have shown a different face of goat farming in India, and nobody knows this much information about the goat marketing particularly. So thank you very much, sir, for sparing your valuable time and your experiences with us, and it was really a worth. Thank you once again.